Greetings, Internet people. RantingRamsay here. How are you all doing today? So, I know I haven't done a whole lot of these segments. I think this is only like the 5th one that I've done. But I couldn't stay away from it any longer. I just couldn't. Because I can't stand this fucking woman. This is just one of the worst people on the face of the planet. And if you didn't read the title, we're talking about Christine O'Donnell. This woman is probably the most vapid, airheaded, naive, misguided twit on the face of the planet. And it's really, really, really scary that she actually won a primary and is now really, once again, being able to be elected for public office. She has been in the running for other public offices in the past and has always failed. And that's a good thing, because, let me put it to you another way. I used to think of this woman as Sarah Palin version 2.0. But that is wrong on a couple of different levels. Number one, that implies improvement. But there is no improvement here. And secondly, the more I read, the more I realized that Christine O'Donnell makes Sarah Palin look like a Nobel Prize winning fucking genius. This woman is vapid on so many fucking levels that it is literally frightening. And I thought about different ways to approach this. I thought about how could I attack this particular issue and you know, seem reasonable. And then I thought about, well, why not let her speak for herself? So I went and I searched and I did a little hunting and I found tons, bunches and bunches and bunches of quotes by Christine O'Donnell. I'm going to read them to you. And I'm sorry if they make your IQ lower. I'm sorry if they make your brain implode or your ears fucking burn off or just anything like that. I apologize, but this shit needs to be called attention to. Now, other people have done this. I want to say, I know that the Young Turks jumps on Christine O'Donnell whenever possible. So, you know, they may be, you know, if you're more of a fan of their style of doing things, you may prefer their videos on this subject. I know there are many other YouTube vloggers out there who have covered this, but I'm going to do it in my way. So, these are the quotes that I have chosen, and I will submit a commentary on each of them. And then you can make up your mind for yourself on if this person needs to go away or not, which I firmly, steadfastly believe that she does. So the first one, and these range all over in date, and in some places I've provided the context, in other places I was too damn lazy to copy where and when she said this, so you'll have to bear with me. The first ones I have says that she said in 1996 that the Bible says that lust in your heart is committing adultery, so you can't masturbate without lust. Well, how about this? If I decide to go 5 rounds of knuckle dusting with the old flesh salami, but while I'm doing it, I'm thinking about my wife, is it still adultery? By her logic, yes. By the logic of fundamentalist Christians, yes. But I'm doing it thinking about my wife, the person I'm married to. So what's the problem? I don't know. She sees a problem with it. I see a problem with her seeing a problem with it. Anyway, she said more insightful things about personal relations, so to speak, in November of 2006, when she said, "Sex is a covenant between a man and a woman and God. Your job is to satisfy the other, the giving of oneself to another. Porn turns that around." Now I'm going to kind of leave the fact that she said porn out of it and say, so basically what she's saying there is that God's watching me have sex and has a personal stake in it. And then that sex is a covenant between a man, a woman, and God, which, you know, we're not even going to go into the whole, what that implies about the gay community. And then the porn turns that around thing. It's just another twit with misguided views on porn. Porn is nothing more than self-gratification and harms none because everyone involved in it is voluntary. Is not exploitation of anyone. Is exploitation of the desire for people to have sex and watch other people having sex. Exploitation of wallets is all it is. Anyway, moving on. This one was gold. This one was absolutely fucking genius. I loved this one. It just made me laugh so hard. At the same time, I cried and died a little bit inside when she said, America is now a socialist economy. The definition of a socialist economy is when 50% or more of your economy is dependent on the federal government. But as we all know, by my recent video, which broke down for you the basic ideals of socialism, that is not true. That couldn't be farther from the truth. So she is a politician running for governmental office and doesn't even understand how socialism works. We're in trouble. We're in trouble, people. Think about that. So, moving on, she says, well, in creation... I cannot speak today. Yay. Well, creationism, in essence, is believing that the world began as the Bible in Genesis says, that God created the earth in 6 days, 6 24-hour periods, and there is just as much, if not more, evidence supporting that. She said that in 1996, so I may give her credit for having educated herself, but based on some of the other things that she said, she hasn't. So I'm gonna read that again. I'm gonna read that one more time so that we can try to wrap our minds around this, because I'm still having difficulty. Creationism, in essence, is believing that the world began as the Bible in Genesis says, that God created the earth in 6 days, 6 24-hour periods, and there is just as much, if not more, evidence supporting that. There is zero, none, zilch, nada, zip evidence supporting that. None whatsoever. Scientific evidence supports a very, very, very old Earth. But she's a fucking moron. So, whatever. And let's move on to the next one. She says, well, as a senator from Tennessee mentioned, evolution is a theory, and it's exactly that. There is not enough evidence, consistent evidence, to make its fact, and I say that because of theory. Because for theory to become fact, it needs to consistently have the same results after it goes through a series of tests. The tests that they use to support evolution does not have consistent results. Now too many people are blindly accepting evolution as fact. When you get down to the hard evidence, it's merely a theory. But creation, ... could not be a more backwards viewpoint on the subject. There could not possibly be. That is literally 180 degrees around from the fucking truth. She obviously, number one, does not understand what the concept of a scientific theory is, because the word theory is commonly misused in the American vernacular. So, she obviously has no concept of what the word theory means, and everything else wrong with that statement just begs for her to be bludgeoned with a baseball bat. I am not advocating the harming of Christine O'Donnell, nor saying that anyone should do any physical harm to her whatsoever. All I'm saying is that, well, I'll leave you to figure it out for yourself so I don't get in any trouble. Anyway, now we're moving on to the really scary shit. And I say scary because this genuinely, honestly, creates an element of fear in me that makes me go, there's a possibility that this person could gain some sort of political influence and power in the United States today. This cannot happen. When she says things like this. If I were in that situation, i.e. hiding Jews from the Nazis and conflicted about whether to tell a lie in order to save them, God would provide a way to do the right thing. Could there be a more brilliant example of a malfunctioning human being ever? She has a perfectly functioning brain. Well, obviously not perfectly functioning, but you understand the analogy I'm trying to make here. She has a functioning brain, obviously by the fact that she's still alive and still breathing, so it means the autonomous functions are functioning properly, which means that the cognitive functions should, in theory, be functioning properly. She would not rely on her own sense of what's right and wrong. She says God would provide the right way to do the right thing. But even then, a atheist or someone without any sort of moral compass in the form of a theological doctrine can easily say, well, fuck yeah, I'd tell a lie to save innocent people from a marauding bunch of murdering assholes. Absolutely I would do that. That should be a no-brainer for anyone, regardless of theological viewpoint. But she puts her own judgment aside to say that God would provide a way to do the right thing. If you want to believe in God, God did provide you with a way to do the right thing by giving you a brain that's inventive enough to fucking lie to the fucking Nazis in this given scenario. But she can't fucking do that. She would rely upon God to give her a way to do the right thing, and that is fucking terrifying. But that is not even worse, or that's not even as bad as this next one. The last quote I'm going to read that just really shakes me at my foundation is, during the primary, I heard the audible voice of God. He said credibility. It wasn't a thought in my head. I thought it meant I was going to win, but after the primary, I got credibility. This woman is absolutely certifiably insane if she's hearing voices and interpreting them as the voice of God. What do we, as an American society, normally do with these people? We shun them and like, hello, you're fucking crazy. You're hearing the voice of God. Even modern-day Christians understand that the voice of God usually means that somebody is fucking insane. Okay? So, but this woman openly admits to supposedly having heard the voice of God and is running for public office, and people are willing to elect her in a primary. This is fucking terrifying, people. This is absolutely insane. This woman is absolutely insane, and people are willing to listen to her. This is not good. This is the definition of not fucking good. Something needs to be done about this because this woman is out of her fucking mind. And that is why I wish Christine O'Donnell would absolutely and positively go away.
Hey, did you get all that, man?